Hello, Collective. This is a timeless reading of yours for the element of water, which has a direct line of congruency and resonancy with Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Or you may just be here because something intrigued you, and you may find that there's something within this reading that benefits you. Bear in mind that if you're any of those signs in the Sun rising and or Jupiter position in this channel for 7th connection to Sekhmet, then those messages may resonate with you a bit more. This is a timeless reading, so whenever and whatever brings you here, there may be something of value to you. The most important thing is use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you, and as you leave the reading behind, leave behind everything else that doesn't belong to you. Feminine and masculine energies may show up, as always, within a reading. Just remember they are non-gender specific energies. And yeah. We're gonna try something. I don't know for how long I'm gonna keep this going, but I would want you to, in the next few moments, select a color, one of the 7 major colors to choose from. So you have to choose one of the colors between red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, or violet. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, or violet. One of those 7 colors, and you're going to hold on to that color for the entirety of the reading. At the end of the reading, I'm going to pull a card, and whatever color comes up from the reading is going to allow me to create an intuitive insight on how well or how much of the reading is attuned to belonging to you. Because remember, this is a general collective reading. This is not a personal connection. This is not a one-to-one connection. So we're going to try it out this way. Feel free to give me feedback if you so should desire. And you can do so via the information in the description box. Again, I want you to pick a color, any color, hold on to that color, and we'll revisit that at the end of the reading. And just make sure it's either red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, or violet. Take this moment to choose your color, and then once you've chosen it, do not change it. Keep the same color. Alright, water element. So I already sense that communication is should be your biggest focus point. If you get lost, if you get chaotic, if you feel disheveled, if you feel imbalanced, then you may want to remember to reflect back on what do you need to be communicative about, what do you need to refrain from, what do you need to embellish, everything having to do with communication. And the biggest form of communication is the silent one, where your mouth is shut and you're more or less having a dialogue with yourself, whether it's of inquiry, answer only, question, answer, just question. There's a dialogue happening, and you're rummaging in your mind on what to believe, quite possibly. And should that be the case, you're trying to find, or maybe being pivoted to be able to search and discover the right vernacular tongue and to communicate the language that which you vibrate of, and want to communicate your flow of internal to the external. This might also be a struggle for some individuals who are multilingual, okay? Because there's a tonality of the language that you speak to yourself, and then maybe the tonality of that of which you think, and then the tonality of how you feel, and they all have different languages and different dialects from one another. And not saying that it's a crisis mode, but it does add a little bit of a tarnish or a blemish towards identity issues, because the one vibration has a potentiality to make connections, and then another vibration has potentiality to make other connections, and you want them to intersect, but because maybe one is in Arabic and the other one is fucking, German, they might not be able to interlock or integrate or crisscross with one another, and that's kind of hard for you to kind of like accept some way or another. Like, this is also a far-reaching metaphor, so wherever you may fit for the sword to become of some sort of value might also be something to trigger at this point, is what I'm getting. 555. So I think in layman's term I might not be correct. However, this is coming up. My God, my nose. The angels around you are annoyed. The majority of people that there's huddling around and they're not listening to these guides. Not all angels are pure, meaning they don't know the causation, the consequences of what it is that they want. That's where you have the know-how. That's where you are the smartest one. And that's where you can practice emotional intelligence, which they are just not capable of having. Sorry, my nose is driving me crazy. For those of you who may know, that might be our Archangel Gabriel. Many other derivatives come from that, though. Hearing Odin, okay, Wednesday. When the archangels are coming through, period. All right, pick a niche, find the archangel. That's probably the one trying to get to you. Sheesh. Yeah. I mean, in a sticky situation with the Page of Cups, if you're a returning listener to my channel, you immediately understand that I absolutely cannot stand the Seven of Swords energy. The Seven of Swords energy is as sneaky as a sneaky snake, as a sneaky snake could snake. Alright, for the annular time of the collective wave, where a lot of people are going to attach themselves to 2025 writtenly, like on paper, digitally, that whole entire spectrum is in a Chinese New Year, I think symbolically gonna be or will be or is the snake. I think I've mentioned it in the element of air, that from every second from January 1st, 2025 to January 1st, 2026 is going to be transformative. Every second, every particle, known to you or unknown to you, is going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I feel it's carrying the same element to water without you really knowing it. I think there's going to be a lot of needing to put out in order to understand what could come in. Now, a lot of you struggle with what I say, step into the light, which means there are a lot of individuals who might understand or have a relationship to the language of starseeds. And you being of one or understanding that language or that tonality of verbiage have a spectrum of limitless, infinite open-mindedness to things, and you wanting to wheel in some of that. And part of that is kind of the relationship that came through with the archangels wanting to communicate with you, is that they're not always they have a highest form of intelligence that you more or less couldn't ever mock, okay? But there is a non-intelligence attached to, however, they are intelligent, which is the lack of emotional intelligence, which you as the human have a bit more of a mastery of, no matter where you are in your own personal maturation of your emotional self and your relationship to yourself through these emotions. You're most likely always going to be a few steps ahead of the universe or archangels or however your connection with is, because there's They don't have that window of needing to make certain choices that are due to causing and triggering and harmonizing and tranquilizing chaotic situations. Kind of lost my train of thought there. That's it. Okay. Moving on. So I feel that the next, again, year cycle, all right, this year massive wave is going to be the usual, I mean, I hate to put it that way, but it's a normality for majority of us to understand that there's peaks and valleys of life, all right? So yeah, the usual ups and downs of life are going to be prominent, but the fact that you're going to learn every piece of the falling down and how to learn and outgrow and outsmart those former obstacles to bounce back up and profit and invest is going to be absolutely major. You're no longer a bottom feeder, okay? You're, you know, algae, for example, are at the bottom of the ocean, right? And they're responsible for cleaning the ocean, bringing oxygen to the ocean. It was one of the reasons why I don't eat seaweed or try to avoid it or limit it, because it's like, if we could only understand the amount of energies that water on this earthly realm has been put through and has gone through with choice or just need to. No, I'm good. But the fact that algae is super important, has close to all of the minerals that we need in order to rejuvenate and replenish ourselves, is a clue. Huge clue. And however that clue will unfold itself for you is the unfolding, because there is no diet that is perfect. Okay, a lot of you could be like super clairvoyant, super like powerful, have your own superpowers, and y'all are meat eaters, you know, like no one has to have an opinion how good or bad it is. No opinion is love. Okay, no opinion is love. Just answers or a solution or curiosity to add more flair to the decisions you make is what's missing. But what's not missing is unneeded judgment. That's what's not missing. That should go missing. Okay. Alright. It's 9 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and the Tower. So, I mean, the narrative keeps on narrating itself. Okay? And you can either be at the level where you see the narrative unfold for itself and you reap the rewards or the consequences of what's going on, or you learn how to be on the other end of that. The one who understands control, the one who understands what managing self is, and managing relationships, managing yourself and your relationship to self, and your relationship to self and the relationship outside of yourself and another person. There's a lot of aspects to cover. A lot of truth that needs to be said with the people that you owe your truth to, okay? First and foremost with yourself, okay? But there's a level of truth that you signed up for, because I do see that truth brought you here, and you're one to try to bring conviction to your truth and see whether or not it brings you some sort of empowerment and justification, you know, and more or less is justified. Yet you're not looking your predator in the eye. And Ether wants to know why. Why are you not able to look the bully in the eye and get your power back? It's almost as if there's so many eyes on you, you're so blinded of yourself. It's like over the top. Someone's over the top on something. Like going out of his or her way too much. It's like they're flexible, but now they're becoming like, I don't know what shape you are. What? I don't know what shape I'm supposed to identify you as. You're like all over the place, and I don't know. It's making me uncomfortable. And that discomfort is supposed to teach you something. And that's also another lesson that I think somewhere within you is trying to fill in and get information on and to put it to rest. Because there's an overabundance of being tired and overrun, and not also always being sure what to fight for, what to aim for, who to trust, who's loyal, who's the one talking shit behind your back, you know, so you can weed them out when they're facing you or sharing your living room or a meal or a lunch date, you know, like there's a need to be honest with yourself. There's a need to take that honesty to another level where you become more intrigued to have a better relationship with yourself. And that relationship could offer you so many perspectives of positivity when you become less codependent on needing those cups of opportunity to be filled by others. That you can enrich them on your own, that you can bring clarity and closure on your own into your own life without ever needing a person from the past to come into your future and bring that closure. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. You might be inundated with like readings, like random readings, and you're hearing that your ex is thinking about you. Your ex is you're constantly rummaging on the mind of your ex, and it's probably true. Yet, what you may need to remember is that this person has been exed. So that means you cross this person out as the marker of focus. And wherever they are in the timeline of that focus is either past, present, or future. If you in the present have already marked them and that present moment turns into the past and now you have a bunch of X's, that doesn't say that the return rate for the future is just as positive or that this person is going to be there in the future. It doesn't really say that. It says that this person you have X'd out, you mark the focus, and now you have a past of a resume with all these X's. And then you're confused whether or not the X means you crossed out or you made your selection. Like, are you zeroing into that person because you really want that person? Like, you're marking that person, this is it, you're checking off the box? Or are you crossing off this person, you're checking off canceled? Which one are you doing? So symbolically, there is a definitive way of one way and then another way, because there's only two ends of a possibility, right? And there's like negatives and positives, or left and right, or pros and cons, or truth or false, feminine and masculine, you know? There's always two bookends of a situation where existence plays off of another. It needs two in order to exist and be a voluptuous tonality of some sort of something. Sustenance. And all these X's that you've marked, it's subconsciously, consciously, subconsciously, I said subconsciously twice, I know. You're putting in like a dust of mental stress, okay? It's the dust of mental stress. And this dust of mental stress is also real in the way that it can provide you answers should you stare a little longer at any of those X's and realize that the X morphs into maybe a symbol of something else. Okay, and becomes where it becomes symbolic of illusion and delusions, because it's about creating an imagery and then wondering if there's an imagery beyond that imagery, beyond that imagery, beyond that imagery. And then knowing that all the images that you've catapulted into being able to receive are connected. Why did I bring this up? Because there's a codependent relationship that you have with someone or many, and you have such reliancy to make sure that that relationship between you and them is constantly being addressed, constantly being nurtured. But the way that you're nurturing has you feeling as if something is amiss or being robbed from you because you feel that you are lacking something. You are the one who run with irate stress. And at the same time, the stress is giving you maybe the reaction time of being snooty, attitudey, a bitch, an asshole, argumentative to say the least. Are you humble at the end of the day? Sure. You can also be a peacemaker. But at the same time, there's certain relationships or situationships or companionships or whatever ships that are having you not be in true emotional, intellectual alignment with yourself as much as you already know you could be. Because of these codependent relationships, you're not understanding something. And that's something I think is mostly having to do with the fact that you are having a codependent relationship with this individual rather than an individual, independent relationship of sovereignty. And then just choosing within that sovereignty to mesh together and create a journey and a path. I see that some of y'all don't know. And I mean, it's also hard to really finite, besides using your own faith and belief system to bring label and credit to where you think it needs credit or attention to. Yet, Ether's not really interested to who, what, when, where you get your energies from, because at the end of the day, the only power that really has to giving validity to those energies is you. So part of that quote unquote problem is that you could have all types of relationship and believe who is what real and what kind of impact they are. And it might completely be in a different mindset or opinion or class or culture than someone else. And what you both may not understand is that that's coming from the same energies. So that's what's interesting for the universe, is that the universe just gives. And part of that giving is that maybe she's got a lot of blue to give. If that blue is being blue and blue is given, and you take blue and you take blue, well, the reason why you take blue is different than this person takes blue. All coming from the same source. You might have a blue house. You might have a blue car. You might think blue is sad. This person might think they're happy. Who knows? But it's an interesting tale for an individual to traverse infinity, being infinite magic, and thinking that the infinity owes the infinite magic something, when the infinity gave birth to you, the infinite one. So there's nothing that you can't receive from ether, but maybe begin questioning why you are not receiving what you think you're putting out to be able to receive. All right, we have, yeah, man, there's really like visceral energy wanting to punch through and really try to like fuck you over. But you're the element of water. Give yourself a bit more credit that you can really give birth to everything and anything, just as much as you can be feared by someone not knowing how deep you go. All right? Ocean is deep, y'all. Some people don't need to know, and it's none of their business how deep you go with your emotions and your travels and your secrets and your love. That's between you and infinity of quantum magic. It becomes loud when people want to hear what you have to say. It might also become loud if too many people don't give you credit for what it is that you do, because you may just be silently in agreement of knowing why things are happening, and you're just never saying it out loud because, well, no one out loud is listening. I hope you heard that correctly. No one out loud is listening. I mean, you can't be infectious and change somebody's opinion. You can't be infectious and change somebody's change of heart or change of spirit. That's all internal. To know that so out loud is to know that inside is the one where you're supposed to be the loudest. And being the most out loud inside literally manifests the things out loud. Oh, the metaphors in here are funny. Yeah, look at that. Into the glory hole, the sun card. Wind that few minutes back if you didn't get it. Wind it back. Maintain your color. Wind it back. If you need to hear it again. We're gonna see what else, if there's anything else. Oh. Just like with most people, all right, with almost anything, when you choose or become empowered to empowering yourself more, that's when you become the biggest threat. The Queen of Swords knows this. At the moment that the Queen of Swords sees something go a bit off balance, she starts second guessing herself and thinking that that's her fault. Not always. Sometimes things ricochet off of each other because something else has been ricocheted. I feel like there's someone gonna come in and be able to offer some wisdom, some maturity, some lessons that will leave you pondering and leave you in such a quest that you're like, I think I heard and understood the assignment. Let me go ahead and try. Let you go ahead and try. You're taking yourself much seriously in the next 5 minutes than you did 5 minutes ago. To take yourself seriously is to put an end of what you think was your misery. Because it brought misery to have to get you to see, to come closer to it, so you can surrender into that resurrection. Because it takes sacrifice and willpower to become so sensitive and vulnerable to feel everything, and at the same time grow to learn and become more of the thing that you thought you didn't know. And that means complete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis into a sacred union of yourself. Because you no longer want to have a connection with your faith and your belief and be worried that you have that faith and that belief. And if your faith and belief needs to be brought to the fucking auto shop to be tuned, aligned, adjusted, filtration check, air purifier check, fuse box, spark plug change, transmission change, exhaust, you're gonna do it. The mechanics of yourself is the sexiest thing that you can get to know. And you're gonna jump into that ladder of opportunity. Some of you are going to have a better relationship with your children, should you have any. Because you understand what the issue is and how to nurture a broken heart, and how to also say that a tarnished heart isn't broken, and that the heart symbolically isn't red. Symbolically, it's supposed to be green. Facing the truth and knowing that there's beauty to be found, and what you think and fear is ugly. You're your own quantum magic. This is my galaxy card, the Virgo energy. All right. Your soul looking so deep within you. It's all around you. You're the water sign. Question is, are you stepping into the light? And when you stepped into your light, do you respect your shadow? All right, now go back to your color. Go ahead and share your color with me. I'm going to pick one card. We're going to be waiting for one card, and we're going to be looking at that card's prominent color, and I'm going to associate it to one of the colors that it's closest linked to of the 7 major colors. And then I'm going to say things. All right, so again, your color. Okay, don't change it. All right, so the color of the reading is violet. Purple violet. Okay, violet is going to be within the indigo. Anyway, it's violet. Okay, we're not going to say purple. Purple is violet. All right, so violet. If your color is violet, the reading is 100% accurately yours as frequency-wise as color frequency is concerned. How that is derivative to you is in the answer to the color. All right. If your color is indigo, you are about 95% accurate, with only 5% of shadow aspects to discover about yourself. If you chosen blue, then you are at about 90% color accuracy in according to the reading, and only have about 10% of shadow work to accomplish for 100% accuracy of the reading. If you have chosen the color green, you are about at a 60% color accuracy of the reading, and you only have about 40% shadow work for 100% accuracy to the reading. If you have chosen color yellow, you are at about you're about 50% accurate or in accuracy to the reading, and then about 50% of shadow aspects having to do 50% shadow work. If you have chosen a color orange, you are at about a 40% accuracy, color accuracy of the reading, and have about 60% of shadow work to be done. And lastly, if you have selected red, you are at about a 25 you're at about a 25% reading accuracy of this reading, and may be left with 75% shadow work in order to be at 100% accuracy of the reading. Alright, so use these messages however they may resonate for you, and however beneficial that may be for you. Okay? But yeah. With that being said, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And remember that I am available for any type of bookings for wellness alignments and or tarot intuitive insights via the link below. And all that jazz. All right, take care. Toodles.